Hey, sports fans! Coach Nick here, and welcome to the B-Ball Breakdown live show coming at you, as always, on a Monday. And I'm always joined by Andrew Combo Sal to discuss the latest and the greatest in the NBA. Combo, how's it going today?
I see a glare. The light is shining on me. We are here, man. No, on my side. Don't worry. Don't worry about it, Coach Nick. I know you get anxious. I see like a light coming right at me, but it's all good.
Yeah,
I'm shining today, Coach Nick. I'm shining.
Yeah, I don't know. That's something. Now, in the scary movies about the devil, that's something else. So we'll see.
Oh, wow. Is that what you're implying, Coach Nick?
I just remembering that, like in some of those movies, when you have that shaft pointing at you, but it might be like a darker shaft and not light. So I'm going to give you the, in the Blues Brothers, which I'm sure is a movie you have not seen, right?
John Belushi. Come on, man.
John Belushi. When he sees the light, I'm going to give you that. That's the benefit of that one. So
that's a little bit. It's a little bit before my time, but
it is. It is. But nonetheless, you should watch it if you haven't. Blues Brothers is one of the greatest all-time movies. And this is one of the greatest all-time shows about the NBA. For a lot of
it really is. Honestly, Coach Nick, I watched some other shows. This might be one of the best shows. This might be.
Yeah. Well, meanwhile, I'm going to have to quit out a couple of things because right now my computer seems to be taxing itself and jittering, and I want to prevent that. So let's see if we quit out of some things here and make it work better. Hopefully, you guys hear us loud and clear and smooth. Is it smooth to you, Combo?
I see a slight distortion in your video in terms of the way you're moving a little bit, but the audio is great.
All right, well, let me close out of everything I can possibly close out of and eliminate this. So that might help me. Anyway, rule of thumb, restart your computer before you go live. Now, let's talk a little bit about the ending of this amazing Magic versus Rockets game, because did you get a chance to see how epic it was down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, the way Şengün sealed off Jonathan Isaac for an easy bucket. I mean, Şengün has improved so much, and the Rockets are rolling. The Orlando Magic seemed to be rolling a little bit, but the Rockets shut that down last night.
Yeah. Well, let's go through that because I thought it'd be worthwhile looking at this a little bit. So, can you see this clip here? It's next to you. You see it?
Yes.
Let's watch it real quick because it's let's see. The Rockets are down, and it was hard to imagine that the Rockets won this game because it felt like the Magic really had it down the stretch and kind of. Well, here's one reason why they're inbounding the ball with 1.4 seconds left. And as you can see, they're in a box. And I'll try and do my best to describe this for the audio people later who listen to the pod. But we have a box, and we have, which is a very traditional way of running this kind of play. And let's just let it run through.
Man, for Houston.
We'll turn that off here. Okay. So you see how that runs, boom, boom, and tie game. Okay. So let's go through this a little bit because, again, this is a very typical way you start this. Now, one thing to note is that the inbound guarder, the person guarding the inbounds player, Amen, is turned the other way, facing the basket and trying to take away passes, which is okay, but I usually like to have a little bit more pressure to take away certain things. Like I never, ever, ever want to have my sideline out of bounds player inbound the ball to the low post. Are you following me, that Combo?
Yeah.
So, and you recognize that it's never a good thing to allow a direct pass from the sideline out of bounds to the low post. Shouldn't let that happen.
Well, it depends on the situation of the score.
Oh, I that was a rule I had the whole time, never at any time. It really.
Well, what if you're guarding the 3 line only? Like, what if that's a situation?
Oh, okay, fine. If you're up by,
man, I'm trying to give you all the options, Coach Nick. I'm just clarifying. Yeah,
fair enough. If you're up by 3, okay, then it's not as important. But you know what? Play it that way anyway. So,
okay,
here's what we have here. We have Jabari Smith is going to kind of sort of like imply he's going to set a screen, but this is probably a mistake. I don't know exactly why he's going to touch Wendell Carter Jr. like this, but he does because he's really just setting a kind of a cross screen for me as part of a double cross screen for Durant, because that's obviously the game in town, right? You want Durant. He is the guy that saved them in this game. It was awesome, hitting a 3 to tie it earlier, and then hitting the deuce at the overtime to win it. But okay, but this is what should be happening. This here with Isaac and Franz, should be a switch. So Franz should pick up KD, and Isaac should simply pick up Jabari Smith. Okay? But watch, Wendell Carter decides to kind of step over there and gets really concerned about Jabari Smith cutting through. And then he switches, and then it's over. Now, in conjunction with the guy guarding the inbounder, who would have been able to be in his face, would have made this pass really much harder, if not impossible to make. But because he goes over to Durant, which, again, I get it. I'm not going to say that's terrible tactics because, again, Durant is the guy you really want to keep the ball out of. But when you end up moving over here, look where Black is. He's all the way over here. So this is just a clear, easy pass right to the, the whatchamacallit zone. Help me here. The oh my goodness, where you can't
the block charge zone.
Yeah,
defensive 3 seconds. No, that's
where you can't take a charge and it's not.
Yeah.
It's the anyway. Well, someone's going to tell me and yell at me in the comments because this is COVID brain. I don't know what it is. Anyway, throw the ball in here and then boom, it's over. You're not going to stop anybody like Şengün from getting that little jump hook off, and all it is just he's going to have to hit it or not. And I don't think anyone's even going to block that. Could they call the foul? Not in that situation. They're not going to call anything like that. And he hits it and he ties the game up. So that was really interesting to see how they let that play out. But wrong setting. Here we go. So it's interesting when you start to learn about these things and you start putting together, like from a Magic's perspective, in the coaching staff. I would hope that they kind of look at this and figure out that not let that happen again.
Yeah, I mean, this team seemed to start out not slow in any way because they had success from the beginning, but Kevin Durant started the season out a little slow. And with that said, he was still averaging 25. So he was going to pick it up, and now he's playing like Kevin Durant. We all know this is what the Rockets needed. They need a go-to guy, and what better go-to guy than KD? I mean, it's a perfect fit for sure.
Yeah, and maybe you'll get back into focus somehow. I don't know if you want to move. I don't know what's happening.
And then also with Fred, I think it's giving Amen more of that point guard on the ball reps that they're trying to do with Cooper with the Mavericks,
Yeah. You know what the solution probably should be? I have to dig into it. I want to watch like several hundred clips. But what the solution might end up having to be is letting Şengün kind of be a little bit more of a point center kind of guy. Fascinating. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. Anybody have any suggestions for combo in his camera?
We're here.
Yeah. You don't have a Mac, right? You don't operate on a Mac?
Mm-mm.
Another one of your problems.
I'm on a Logitech anyway.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll add that to the list of technical issues that perhaps one day we'll figure out.
Send over the Mac, Coach Nick. Hey, I'll start using it every Monday.
All right. Get combo a Mac. That would be our next push when we get into our super chats. Which, by the way, if you want your question answered, the best way to do that is with the super chat function over on the YouTube side. Do that, and we'll give you a lot of love. It'll really help us keep the show going. So. Please, let's see that. What's up, everybody in the comments? Salute, buzzer beater, and thank you for all the nice comments here. We got Your Eyes 9762. What is up? And anybody else in there saying hello? Let's see here.
So are things more popping on the StreamYard? Not to get too technical here.
Yeah, they are a little bit.
Okay.
But we had a problem, I think, with the other one with the going to Twitter in the first place. And it's working now on Twitter, Ryan. So, welcome everybody to the show. And so the Rockets keep on rolling. And no matter what you want to say about the point guard or not, at this point, 11, 12 games into the season, their offensive rating is, I want to say it's all-time high. We've never seen such a high offensive rating. Let me make sure that's correct, but if it stayed that way. But it was the other day, 123.4, which I believe would be at least a couple points higher than the highest ever, which would have been probably last year, which was 121. I don't know if it was lower than that or higher than that the year before. Yeah. So they have an all-time high offensive rating this year. So it's like you can't really point to the offense being an issue after 12 games. They're 9-3.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, they have a bunch of tools. So they're really tough on both sides of the floor. Do you think their offense is actually better than the Thunder's offense right now? Because this year, obviously, they don't have Jalen Williams, but look at their record. They're on a crazy pace. And not only that, the ball is moving better this year. And I think also SGA has become a better passer on top of all of it. So,
yeah, well, we can check that too, because we can look at the passing stats, which I'll look up in a minute about in terms of the passing per game more. I don't know. What we've seen about a lot of times NBA teams that win a title and then they come back the next season.
Hangover.
Believe it. Now, this is not a hot take. Someone kind of thought I was insane yesterday for saying that the Pacers kind of had him, right? In that first half of Game 7, and had Hallie not gone down, I don't know. I mean, there was a sphincteritis going on a little bit where Hallie wasn't feeling any pressure and was like really killing him. And that could kind of get people tight. And I thought for sure the Pacers had better than an even chance of winning Game 7, don't you?
I mean, if Hallie's shooting like that, then second half gets even tougher because the way you have to guard him, and then he's the greatest passer outside of Jokic in basketball, probably outside maybe Luka and Jokic. So it's I mean, things would have got dangerous. Things would have got tough in that second half to how loose he was playing and how the whole team was playing.
Yeah, and it's safe to say that we had already seen from the Pacers plenty of outstanding down the stretch play, which indicated that they were not going to fold, and they certainly weren't going to, have that third quarter
And
thing.
Pascal has a lot of experience in those situations too, and he's the guy to get the ball to. Yeah, I mean championship experience.
Yeah. So I don't think that was a hot take at all to think that the Pacers had that. And so the point being is they pushed OKC to the absolute brink of just about losing that title, but they won it. And you start to believe, and then you come back the next year and are even better. I know the Bulls did that after their first title way back in the day. I remember that. And we've seen that a little bit where they go on and the next season's really where they start to feel themselves and play well. And this is what I'm seeing from OKC. They really are playing a brand of basketball that's better than they had played, I think, even last year. They taken it to a different level. Now we have to wait until we see them play with the Rockets. When does that happen? Do we know? Come on, you don't know everyone's schedule? I'll tell you right now, if my computer can handle this. So
who's better? Who's better right now, SGA or KD?
Right. And remember, the Rockets lost to OKC in double overtime in the first game this season, which was awesome. And let's see when they play again. Oklahoma City. They play again on January 15th and then February 7th. We have to wait till then. And we don't get a Nuggets OKC game until I think February, something crazy like that. It really sucks with this schedule that we don't get a chance to see that. But we're going to have to wait until then, until January, to figure out what's really happening between these two teams.
Who's better right now, KD or SGA?
Who's better, KD or SGA? Wow.
Right now. Obviously KD all time.
Yeah, right. I mean, because we can't, a lot of times what I do for there is, who's a better passer, right? You kind of want to try and fill in.
KD's probably the better passer.
I mean, it's neither of them's roles, right, really? So
I feel like KD's
doesn't really mean much to me in that situation. So
KD's experience gives them the edge there, I think, with the passing. Neither of them hang their hat on passing, but I think KD's experience.
Yeah,
but SGA got better this year.
KD's averaging 26 a game. By the way, he's playing 36 minutes a game. It's too much. He should be down to 34, 33. I'm telling you, and it's going to matter, I think, at 37. Don't you agree?
I'm not big on the load management thing.
Okay.
I think guys just got, I think, if I'm KD, I want to play a lot. And that's my thing.
That's true, but I think that, I don't think that 33 minutes a game is load managing like that, really. But they'll have to hope that they end up having blowouts, in which they should, and they'll have a lot of opportunities to play him 30. And then he'll do that. So that might be what they're gambling on.
If I go through, if I'm an older player and I go through all my warm-ups and I'm in the stadium and, it takes a little bit longer to warm up, I think I'd rather just play more at this point of his life,
And it's a good argument. That's how you get ready for the playoffs, right? You're in shape for that. And if you're load managing the whole time, then you're not, right? And then all of a sudden the playoffs hit and you're just not steeled for that. It's not easy. So that's all part of it. But okay, so that's one thing. But I think that they need to figure out ways, and they could very well be. I actually
rather him play the same amount of minutes and then take off a few games than playing less minutes each game.
No, well, that's really load management, isn't it?
Yeah, but me personally, if I'm a star player, I like playing as many minutes as possible when I am playing.
Fair enough.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
And he really hasn't. He's played, I think, all 12 games that they've had. Yeah, and so. There might be some back-to-backs they'll rest him in, which sucks for the fans who might save up all year long to go see KD play one time.
I'd rather them do neither. Just let him play all the games. Let him play a lot.
I would like him to play load manage in the game and cut some minutes, but let him play so that everybody can see him. But anyway, he's averaging 26 a game. He's shooting 51, 40, 89, which is interesting. I think 90 is a thing he can easily get from the free throw line. So he hasn't really missed a beat. It's really kind of fascinating after Achilles injuries and 37 years old. He's able to continue to do that. And I bet you his usage is lower than, in other years. So now SGA is 30 plus. He's doing it in more volume. And I don't know if you can pick. Are you going to pick between SGA and KD?
I would take KD.
This year?
Even this year.
Okay. I don't know. Now, we did see KD, by the way, when Russ went down, when they were both on OKC. I think it was his MVP year. We did see KD become a really good passer and facilitator out of all that too.
Even with the Nets, he was playing like point Durant.
Okay, even alongside when he was with Harden doing it.
Well, Harden was out a lot.
That's okay. Yeah. So he can do it, but it's not really the function here. And Şengün is really the guy that they could run a lot more high post through, which I like to see more of. And then they're getting him low post touch, which
And
is
then
great.
they're giving a men point guard reps. So he played that in OTE, and he's playing it now. So
yeah. And you know what? He's getting 5 assists a game. So it's not like Amen isn't getting. But again, they're scoring so well. I would average about 4 assists a game just by passing the ball around out there a little bit. Like that's the thing. Like they score so many buckets right now.
Who, Coach Nick? Coach Nick, you're saying would do that?
Player Nick, I guess we'll have to call him.
Player Nick.
I would play like that.
So you think
certainly I would.
You think you would be the guy they would target a pick and roll, or no? They would be scared to target you. Yeah,
I would be the Reed Shepherd in that thing. Yeah.
Oh, Reed Shepherd, how's his stats looking?
But I would get into a stance and I would be ferocious looking, and they would go away from that.
Oh wow, ferocious. Okay, the ferocity would scare them.
I had that
at Summer League. At Summer League, I told you, Con Canoopel, Rookie of the Year.
You did.
I did tell you that.
Yeah,
I got to pull that clip up.
Yeah,
I got to pull that clip up. But Cooper started to play better, so Cooper might be going like this now. So
yeah. Well, there was an interesting clip 2 days ago of Con Canoopel getting to the basket. The guy's like, how is it possible that a guy with a 7 out of 10 handle is just getting to the basket as much as he is in this game, right? And he's not quick.
Pace, man, pace.
And so, and then Brian McCormick weighed in about you're working on all these combo dribble stuff, no offense combo, but and what he does is just much more simple, right? Just getting downhill. And
that's not better or worse. It's just his game, Some people use the back.
Being more efficient with the dribble could very well be better if you want to say, but Harden proved that you can go tween, cross, tween, and then that'll get somebody off balance and create an advantage. So
Kyrie.
Yeah.
So it depends on the player.
I might favor that because you're part of a team. And then, when you start doing that, the energy slows down a little bit and goes down a little bit because you're all skating around.
I agree with you. I think even in the skill development landscape, there's way too much emphasis on the bag.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. 100%. I agree with that part. But I would also say that for the greatest players, that's what puts fans in the seats, So there's two sides to look at it.
And there's a merging of those. I would love to be able to see a really cool, quick combo, crazy, complicated thing, but it's out of the handoff that you're going into a handoff. Merge the two, have the quick ball movement into this, and it'll be even better. So that's what I think is really cool.
You like the flow, you like catching downhill. 3x3 actually has a lot of that because of the short shot clock. There's no stoppage,
Yeah, no, that's true too. I mean, what really gets me, if you're wondering, is really quick ball movement, side to side, cutting, passing. That really makes it exciting for me. High post action, quick, because high post action almost always sort of guarantees your cutters. Luckily it still has. I remember when I was growing up, and I don't know if anyone ever taught me this. Simply, the ball went to the high post, you cut to the basket. It was like one of those unwritten rules. Obviously somebody must have taught me that, and I forgot that they did, and I just remembered it. But I just knew it. But I was always worried at some point in this, between 1980 whatever and now, some of those things got lost. But it does seem like a lot of the younger players, so certainly when I'm working with them now at the AAU level, they still get it, right? They still seem to understand that that's happening. You're really going to mess around with your camera right now? Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah,
don't touch anything. It's it's in focus. We're happy. All right. Let's get to our first super chat because we have Alan Tran. Always great to see you, Alan. And interestingly enough, there's numbers after everyone's names now when they didn't used to be there. But I'm assuming.
Oh man, I could see where this Thank you for the super chat. I could see where this conversation is going already. Let's stay away from the conversation, Coach.
All right. Let's see. Well, we're getting. This is amazingly generous. Thank you so much for the super.
Thank
chat.
you, Alan. We appreciate you, man. But I think Alan wants to see us debate about Cade Cunningham right now.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about Detroit in general because they're at number 1 in the conference. They're playing really well.
All right. Real quick before you read it, Cade Cunningham is the top blank NBA player right now.
Cade Cunningham, I'll give him top 12.
Okay. Remember, your video was top 20 last year, so he's making progress in your mind.
Yeah. I remember the biggest argument I'm going to have with you about it is that he can't get into the MVP conversation finishing as poorly as he does at the rim.
But what if his team? What if he has the best team?
Not all-star and not all that stuff.
Well, what if he's 30, 9-5, and then they have the best record too? I mean.
Yeah.
But go ahead, though.
Probably still going to be on principle until he can finish better.
Okay.
That's the big one.
All right.
I'm not saying threes, not whatever. You got at the rim, man, and you want to be in the MVP conversation. Capital M, capital V, capital P. then you cannot be last. Remember, I can say if he wants to be average,
you said
great.
he's not. You said he's not last anymore. You told me that.
Right, he's fourth from last. Well,
Right,
look, I'll look it up.
let's go. He's not last. Go ahead, Coach Dick. Read the super chat.
All right, Alan says, I'm convinced Detroit the Pistons are one move away from being Eastern Conference Finals or even Finals locks this year. If Memphis blows it up, JJJ would be perfect alongside Jay, Duren, and Osar. Tobias, Ivy, and 2 to 3 firsts would do it. I guess he's talking about in terms of salary.
I would not. I would try not to move. Wait, whoa. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I thought he said he wants to trade Asar. I'll be like, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
Right. I mean, Tobias has value. Ivy doesn't necessarily yet because he's been injured.
Is that enough for Memphis, though, you think?
Yeah, well, I think the 3 firsts start to get into the conversation because I'm sure they're going to want to amass first-round picks. But that might be tough with that package. But I would anticipate Memphis maybe starting to look at
who has more trade value right now, Lauri Markkanen or JJJ?
I would probably say Lowry. Well, is he Jackson still shooting threes? Gosh, I got to be full disclosure. I saw Memphis a little bit the other day, but I need to go into it.
I mean, he don't shoot it. He don't shoot it like Lowry. That's for sure.
Yeah, there was
protects the rim better though. Protects the rim better than Lowry.
Certainly defensively, yeah, he's there. But remember, there might be this weird overvaluation on defensive players, especially the big ones who protect the rim. I don't know. I'm kind of going to have to look at that as well. But Lowry's got more value overall, without question.
I agree.
But let's see here. I mean, just really quickly looking at his stats. He's shooting nicely, 37. A little bit above average from 3. This is Jaren Jackson Jr. and on decent attempts. So that's still there. My question is that gravity still there for Jackson? And it looks like it is enough.
I think Cade maximizes JJJ. I think that'd be great. I do like Lowry even better though for this team.
Yeah, I mean that's the question now. Is that the best fit? Because Duren, is solid down there, can make
right exactly.
Yeah. Already, and is he getting better with his hands? Duren's got a little bit of the touch of the Gobert issue down there, a little bit on the finishing and on the hands. Unfortunately, I don't know if you've noticed that, but I've seen it enough where I'm like,
I think it looks that way, but he does finish and he does pass well from the high post.
Duren.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, listen, when he doesn't have to dribble the ball and near the basket, he can just power over people. Yeah. I mean, that's great finishing there. He doesn't have an issue there, but it's like there are issues with the hands and the fumbling the pass a little bit and stuff like that, which is frustrating sometimes.
Oh, so all Cade's turnovers are because of Duren, you're saying now?
Yeah, right. Listen, we haven't even gotten into Cade's turnovers, and he handles the ball so much he can turn the ball over. I don't think it's that much. Is it now time for me to quickly check that stat? Let's.
Look what I took. Look at the wormhole I took us down.
Check on Cade.
All I know is he's 29, 9, and 5, something like that, and they have the best record in the East.
Yeah. And also remember, I did go through drives specifically because in reality, he does take 15% of those at the rim shots are not off of drives, and I'm like, okay, what I was responding to even from the very beginning years ago with this argument with you was probably like the drives and then missing those. And there has been an improvement. I've seen him finishing better up until the other game when he had the 40 whatever points, but shot so poorly, right? I mean, missed so many shots like near the rim. But up until that point, it looked better in a way. And he must have heard me saying that and then says, "Oh, I got to get back to where I used to be."
Yeah.
But in the summary of his shots at rim overall, we'll do it down and dirty. It doesn't look.
No, we're not doing this today, Coach Dick. Come on, Coach Dick. We're not. We were talking about we talked about turnovers briefly. We're not going back to at the rim finishing right now. Let's focus on the trade. Come on, Coach Nick.
I'm just curious. All right. Well,
oh my God. Go ahead.
There's a reason why you wouldn't want to. Here's what's really fascinating. This can't be right. And this also tells you how noisy it could be earlier in the year. But if I'm looking at this properly, minimum 40 shots at the rim. Do you know who's last? Just, Kay Cunningham is second to last. But you know who's last? Right.
All right. Can you do this for me? Can you read his season stats and who's the leader in the Eastern Conference when it comes to their basketball team?
No. The answer to my question was Steven Adams. That cannot be right.
Okay.
Wait. I mean, is this, points per shot percentile.
He's a good player. He helps them.
Percentage. Steven Adams is missing a lot of shots at the rim. That's very fascinating. He doesn't normally do that. Anyway,
he's part of the best offense in the league. So kudos to him.
Yeah. So by the way, imagine when I can guarantee you, Steven Adams are going to go from 52% to 70%, right? Because what does he shoot? Dunks. and little hooks open, that's going to go back to normal, and then look out. Now, Cliff side, what's up, Cliff? Always great to see you. He doesn't have funny numbers after the end of his name, so that's good to see. Cliff, you guys ever team up during pickup ball? I'm so worried. I would like to actually. I've lost have you noticed? I don't know. I've lost like a whole bunch of weight. It's been great.
I did notice, yeah.
Since July, and hardest thing I've ever had to do. And so I'm starting to feel like, I want to get out there and move around. And then I freaking see the Halliburton play again, or I see
It's a risk.
What's his face? Dame. And it's like, I don't know, man. What's going to stop me from happening that for me at my age? Like, I don't know if I can.
Yeah. So what I do now is I'll play like 30 to 45 minutes before I lift. I don't like do an excessive amount of playing up and down, but I love it so much that I continue to do it, And then I do more skill work now than anything, because I just love
maybe like 3-on-3 half court.
Yeah, that's cool. I like, what's a pretty safe sport? One-on-one, actually. One-on-one's actually pretty safe. Yeah,
maybe I have to start there. But it's been so long now. It seems so fast for me. I don't really know what I'm going to do. If I could even ever get it back.
But Coach Nick did semi-train me on the court. We're going through some content.
I was trying to show you a little bit of dipping off the dribble. Yeah. Go back and watch. That's a great piece of content. I think more people need to watch that one, where we did some analysis and then we actually go on the court and discuss mechanics of that analysis. Like it was the Rockets we were talking about. So
yeah,
there's something there for sure we could develop. So
wow, I wonder if there's anything we could grab from that to pull back up that we were accurate on about the Rockets, because you were pretty high on them before the season.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and I remember I had to temper that after Fred VanVleet went down. But until we see them, I want to see one more game between them and SGA. And I want to see another game between them and the Nuggets. Wait, when do they play the Nuggets? Denver. They don't play. Here they play wait a minute. They play Friday. We get a Houston-Denver game on Friday. Now that's going to be awesome. Maybe we'll have to do a watch party for that one.
Houston-Denver.
It would be
Saturday night,
6:30. It'd be 9:30 your time.
That's not bad.
All right. Well, let's put a pin in that one. Now let's go to melting into air. Thank you. I think this might be the first one we had a super chat from them. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Very generous of you. And let's see what they say. Remember in December. Hey, that's cool. That rhymes. Remember in December 2023 when I asked you if the Pacers should trade Mathurin and Walker for OG and Anunoby, and they could have still gotten Siakam. So I guess it's not for their first question. Do you remember that combo?
Man, that's a while ago. But I did see a live show of us that said 3 years ago, and I think we were doing it.
So let's see. OG was with Toronto at that point, and they still could have gotten Siakam, which they did. Now then that becomes a bit weird because
whoever was high on OG when he was with Toronto was right, because he's a great player. He's injured. He's injured right now, actually, which is unfortunate. 2 weeks out, probably.
But what was his injury?
I believe a hamstring, but I'm not exactly sure. It's 2 weeks though.
That's supposedly the same one he had before.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, the point being that they could have done that. Well, listen, they've got guys in that OG mold already, right? Who are all injured as well, or were injured the other day. Like, so Neesmith is kind of in that mold.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
I love Pacers team when they're healthy, although now they don't have Turner anymore, which is too, I don't know if they had to do that, but
I mean, OG helps every NBA team. So it was a good take back in December 2023, but also they did just make it all the way to the finals. It probably would have won if Halliburton doesn't go down, like we just said. So it might've been good either way. It's good now. Yeah. I mean, OG would have been great for them. So
right. The only issue with OG, and I love him, but he gets hurt. And it's funny. It's like, so I saw some criticism the other day. They were showing defense by Jokic, and it's not good. And usually it's not good in the first like 3 quarters. And that's his thing. And part of it is he's trying to save himself from fouls, which isn't terrible. And they're so good offensively that they if you're up by like 9 or 8 and the guy's driving, okay, I'll maybe reach quickly or whatever, but I don't have to like go all out contest. But it can protect you from getting hurt. And I can guarantee you, if we had the data right now, the more effort you give on defense is a strong correlation to you getting injured at some point. Now, something tells me that you subscribed to this method when you played.
Yeah, man. No defense for combo, man. But yeah, no, that's fair. I think when anybody plays in the red, right, when you're like over exerting yourself a little bit outside of the natural flow of basketball, right?
Yeah.
Like you could feel when you're playing in the red, and you're usually not playing good when you're playing in the red. When you're playing at your best, everything's easy.
Yeah.
You know?
Gosh.
So yeah. So so I believe that could be true. Like if you're one of those, if you're playing Pat Beverly type defense, I mean, there is a chance that you're going to get hurt. There is a greater chance, I believe that is true. And also on top of that, defense, number one. Number two, when I watch Jokic play in the Olympics, I watched it up close. I mean, he's a lot better defensively than I thought from when I was watching. Like he the way he moves his feet, like his IQ, he kind of switched out on Patty Mills and held him up a little bit. Like I kind of was impressed by Jokic's defense. Yeah,
very opportune moments too, like in a clutch situation. So again, to me, what that says is he's kind of saves it so when he absolutely needs it for both foul trouble protection and then injury protection as well. I'm telling you, there's something to that. And plus, throughout the game, like his rebounding is really good and he's really solid that way, which is part of defense is getting the ball back. So I don't think he deserves that. Now, if we look at the numbers here, I'm just kind of curious where my let's see, for this year defensive rating, the Nuggets are second in the league at 109. Now, by the way, the Oklahoma City Thunder are first at 102.8, and that's the lowest defensive rating we've seen in 5 years since like the Bucks did it. And I think even before that, like it's one of the all-time low offensive ratings, and especially in this era. So what they're doing, and I'm getting the video done, probably tomorrow about the Thunder. And I'm going to focus on a couple of different things. One, why it's unfair because they're just throwing new guys in here who are just awesome. But their defensive stuff is kind of interesting what they do like on the wings. And, there is a difference between, trying to defend an attack from the wing than it is from the top, right? The top is a lot harder because you have different directions you can go. And with the wing, you can funnel and you can kind of wall off certain things. And they seem to figure that out, in a serious way that makes it hard if you're going to try and drive that way, which then in my mind means the teams need to adjust and figure out better ways to attack into the middle from the top, and that might be a thing. I don't know how many coaches I've ever really heard have that focus. Everybody likes to get into the middle. That's absolutely one thing, but I'm not sure I've ever really heard coaches talk about from where they start to attack the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like attacking middle is more of a transition thing than half-court offense thing, right?
No,
I'm saying what teams focus on.
Yeah, no, I think when you're coaching a half-court offense, you're trying to attack the middle because that's where you get all the threes. You have help defense side over, you spray the ball, you get threes.
I feel like it's less starting in the middle now than it used to be.
No, I don't mean like, well, you mean starting in the middle or you mean attacking into the middle?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like starting, like it used to be like back in the day, like basic point guard. You kind of start from the middle of the floor. Yeah, there's less of that now.
Yeah, well, the D'Antoni influence has been that way where they want to keep the in between the slots, lane line extended. They want to keep that open.
Right.
Now, but a lot of teams will fill that with the center trailing and they're 5 out, right? And then when they reverse it, the center now.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's part of it. But yeah, they definitely, which is interesting to me because that's the initial part of the attack. But then once you're into your attack, the ball is moving a little bit. You want to attack the middle, but I'm starting to realize I feel like with the Thunder, there's going to be seams you want to attack and other ones you do not want to. And I feel like the seam that's between the elbow and the low block is a place where you would go like against a 2-3 zone. That's the big important seam. That's not where you want to go. And I would, encourage my offense to avoid that, if I can. Now, baseline drives are a little bit different too, and I got to study that a little bit to see if there's a weakness there, perhaps with the Thunder. I doubt it, but it seems to me that if we're going to look at a trend, and now that I'm glad I have this talk with you because now I'm going to have to study some of the drives against OKC's defense in that red zone between the slots, and I might start to see some more scores there than other places. Now, either way, it's impossible to score against them. So the video will be on OKC next. Yeah, OKC, but the Rockets too. So I'm going to do the Rockets, OKC and the Rockets, unless something crazy happens like tonight or whatever. But yeah, we'll that's pretty much the plan. Yeah. All right, let's get to our next super chat. Oh, no, we already did that one. Let's get to our next one. It's from Jader Ace. Always great to see you, Jader Ace. Thank you so much. And they say, with trades that I'm hearing for Detroit.
Is this a big thing? Sorry to cut you off, Coach Nick. I want you to read the super chat. Is this like, because we're getting 2 of these with the Detroit trades. Is this like something that's about to happen?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it.
Okay.
Let's see.
Go ahead, though.
But obviously, let us know, Jader Ace, in the comments. I'll see if I can find the one in there. With trades that I'm hearing for Detroit, they just don't work with the new CBA. If you take in another max contract, you can't re-sign your key guys. Is that right? Because they have a max contract? I haven't heard that, but I'm not like the absolute expert on all the CBA stuff.
First of all, most people that say they're an expert on the CBA stuff is not an expert on the CBA stuff because that book is like this big.
Yeah, I mean, I know the experts. Yeah, they have a lot of information in their brains that most people don't. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But okay, but that's well, maybe we'll have to get Bobby or Eric or even the OG on the show for CBA stuff. But let's see here. But that's interesting because you obviously would want to re-sign. Well, I think Cade is locked up anyway, right? With the
Max
contract.
Yeah, Max.
There's nobody else in that team that would be untouchable as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, Jalen Duren's becoming untouchable.
Yeah, but he's talking about in the sense of you're trying to bring in like another max contract. That's like, I don't know who that is. That Giannis? Like, who is he talking about?
I wouldn't trade Jalen Duren and Asar for really.
Right. Well, you got to keep your eye on Giannis because it looks like perhaps like this Bucks team's going to go south.
Asar, yeah, that, of course. Giannis is going to want to be out of there. Obviously, he probably does want to be out of there already.
Yeah, no, he wanted out, and they made it clear, and then he kind of committed just for this year.
Yeah. He's trying to make the best of his situation, which I get. But I think Asar's a guy who could take a leap eventually. I really do.
Yeah. Both those guys, both the brothers are terrific.
Well, the brother has basically took a leap. I mean, he could be part of a championship team right now.
Yeah,
a good part. Yeah,
for sure. Okay. Cliffside's back. Thanks so much, Cliff. Combo, why is not playing defense celebrated amongst scorers? I hear Jamal Crawford joke about it on air too, LOL.
I think that you only have a certain amount of bandwidth. And obviously there's players that could do both at the highest levels. You think of Kawhi Leonard, you think of Michael Jordan, but most players like to focus on one side of the floor. And on top of that, offense is just more fun, man. It just is more fun. So that's my answer. Shout out to Jamal Crawford. I bumped into him in my gym the other day. Good dude. Oh, yeah. Great guy. And he's very smart.
I shared the tweet where I think it was 2014 when I said Jamal Crawford needs to get into broadcasting when he's done with that voice. And here we are.
But not only the voice, it's like he has all these, even when you talk to him, he has like all these like metaphors and similes and way he describes the game. That's really interesting. Okay. So shout out to Jamal. But yeah, that's why I think you only have a certain amount of bandwidth. When you're like a James Harden type player, right? That's probably the most bandwidth that any player has ever played with when it comes to offensive side and having the basketball. How much energy do you really have left for the other side of the ball if that's like your focus, So that's my thing. I think a lot of it comes down to bandwidth. Is that fair, Coach Nick?
Yeah, I think so. Although I will say this, I invented this new defense where we play behind the ball. And players have really responded to this. And I think part of it is, and I'll say this to all the coaches when I do my big Zooms with these things to demonstrate it, is that the response that we end up getting is because I think that players they don't not like defense because they're selfish and they just want to shoot the ball all the time. I honestly think that there's something about the way we've been teaching defense with step sliding and choppy step closeouts where they inherently understand that that's not athletic enough. And it's limiting them. And when we run the defense like I do, we're running everywhere. There's no more step slidings, no more choppy step closeouts.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Oh, we like this. Makes sense. We can now unleash our inner athlete, whatever that is, and really create havoc out here like we're supposed to." And so I think that might be part of why players have sort of resisted defense for so long.
I used to hate those closeout drills in basketball camp and in practice with the choppy step thing. And I guess I should have thought to myself, like, is there a good reason why we're doing this? But what was the rationale for those coaches teaching that? I know you don't agree with it. I'm just asking you, what was the rationale for it?
Right. Because the reason why it's troubling is you do all these drills. You see them do it in the pregame, right, to try and be intimidating the other teams. But then you go watch the games and nobody really does that. Nobody will end up, choppy step closeout, really. Every once in a while you might, because the best defenders don't do that. What they do is what I call a hockey stop, and they go one, and then they're both feet in the air, and they kind of turn almost sideways, like, when you kick up the ice when you're in hockey, and they're right on top of the guy, right? And otherwise, if it's not a good shooter, then just stop short and dare the guy to shoot it and thank him when he does. So I think that I know because I was there at ground zero in the choppy step era. And what the idea was is that you needed to get to those guys as quickly as possible. You also needed to then be able to slow down as quickly as possible. So somebody who was not a biomechanics person figured if I chop my steps really quickly, then they'll help me slow down. And then at some point, I'll be able to then, with one foot down, the other foot down, push off and then be able to then start sliding right away. So now you're mixing, by the way, the choppy step BS with the sliding BS. And all of that leads to the scores going up and up and up every year over year, at least in the NBA level. I wouldn't be surprised if college is similar, but maybe not because college is still college. But, it's simply not an effective way to move to be able to prevent people from scoring.
But did you answer the question? What was their rationale?
I think it's the combination of they think that this is how you need to slow down because they need you to get there as quickly as you can.
Gotcha.
And then, because now I always learned, and I preferred even back in the choppy step day, I wanted a stuttered jump stop. I wanted both feet to be going together because any moment at that point with both feet hitting the ground, you can go left, you can go right, depending on what the offensive player does. If I have my right foot forward and they want to go and the offensive player goes to my right, I now have to take another step and then be able to push off my left foot to go in that direction. So that's one reason why it's a little slower in the context of things. But yeah, that's why they taught that. They needed you to have somehow a way to get going quickly, but then somehow stop, and that's why they figured that's a better way because you can't just stop on a dime full speed. You need a couple steps, So that's what they developed, but it's just suboptimal. It's not the best way to do it.
Yeah. And thanks for the super chat, Cliff.
Yeah,
appreciate the question.
Featuring Mari. Is that what it is? Or free throw Mari? I think it's featuring. What do you think?
Let's call him FT Mari. Sounds like a good name.
FT Mari, Mary Mari. Do you think, and by the way, thank you so much for the super chat. Really, really appreciate this. Do you guys think that when LeBron returns, will the Lakers start losing? Oh, this is a great question. Or they start winning even more? I feel like he should come off the bench. Oh, well, that is not going to happen. I'm sorry to break your ruin your moment or whatever, but there's no way he's coming off the bench, right?
I agree. And I think having LeBron James definitely gives you a better chance to win a championship. No matter how great they're playing right now, I mean, you don't win a championship with this team without LeBron.
Is LeBron James better than Rui?
What?
What's the answer?
He's not better than. I mean, he's definitely better than Rui. What are you talking about? He was all NBA last year.
So if that's the case, then it's hard to imagine any other scenario than they'll play better, right? I mean,
of course they'll play better. I mean,
now if he's going to come in a situation where they already had a couple other guys and they're all playing amazing, or whatever. Okay, then that's a question. But when you add LeBron, even at this stage of LeBron's career, now does Rui give out a little bit more on defense? I'm not even sure. I don't think Rui is very effective at all.
On ball defender, maybe they're equal, possibly, but I even doubt that. But we're talking about anchoring a defense. LeBron is still better, right? Than Rui.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and we've seen that. So there's no question that they're going to get better. Now, I think that let me just check their schedule because I feel like they have a little bit of a benefit here. So their wins: Minnesota Kings. Minnesota, Memphis, Heat, Portland, Spurs, Charlotte, Pelicans, Bucks. So they've gotten a little bit of an inflated, win total here against some of these people. Now, who they've lost to, the Warriors, the Blazers, yikes. That might have been a schedule loss. Yeah, that was a back-to-back. And then the Hawks. And Hawks, by the way, we might have to talk about at some point. I got to dig a deeper dive. They're playing really, really well without Trae Young, which is interesting. Wow. And should we talk about that play, by the way, that happened with Risacher? Did you see it when he fell? I think maybe we should. I have it.
Fell. No,
Risacher fell. I'll play it for you real quick because it was worthy of doing. Let me see.
Oh, yeah. By the way, to FT Mari's question, if you don't think you have any chance to win a championship, then it makes sense to trade him, though, right? For your future, if you want to build around the Luka, Austin Reeves timeline. If you think you have your chances are better to win a championship with LeBron, but if you don't think you have any chance to win, then it does make sense, right? If he wants to go somewhere
to trade LeBron,
yeah,
okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, but they'll have a chance. LeBron and Luka. I don't know if you ever get that far. I mean, the only way you get that far in that thinking would be that the team is 10-25, right? And at this point, they're 10-4.
We got to
get there.
We also got to give credit to JJ Redick because when they're losing, he gets a whole lot of pushback, and they're winning right now, and you don't hear a whole lot of praise for him. So shouts to JJ. He's doing a great job with this team.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be able to question the IQ when he knows now, the preparation and all that stuff. That is, he's going to be at the top of the list for that kind of stuff. Let's all right. So do we get to answer that question fully? So I don't think they're going to start losing. I think they'll start winning. Now, we need to see some of these touchstone games between OKC, between Denver, before we really get a handle on that, which has always been the case in the NBA, right? You can always play the bottom 15 teams and look great. So we got to find out, but they'll be better. They'll improve the talent level, which is always, something that will improve the fortune of the Lakers when they add LeBron. We just got to keep our eye on when he comes back and how many games that is and whether it's related to this gambling thing or not.
Am I flashing in and out? Do you see that?
No, you look fine to me.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but I just dropped the bomb and you didn't even hear it.
Well, I see green flashes in my screen, so excuse me. Say it again. I'm sorry, Coach Nick.
So we have to find out whether this is really a injury or not for LeBron.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, I know we've done this already on the live.
Yeah, but did you see the reporting from this weekend?
No, I did not. What happened? Tell me, Coach Nick.
The
Are you
NBA
going to
requesting, cell phone data or cell phones and more documents from a few specific teams, and you'll never guess who's at the top of that list. And you'll never guess a couple more people who are now swirling around how close they are to certain people on the team. So keep your eye on that. And I don't want to cast any aspersions, but I also love conspiracy theories, and this one's juicy. So keep your eye on that one and what that happens. But listen, maybe LeBron does have sciatica and he's hurt and he's coming back. So we'll see. I mean that's the more rational answer, but I don't know. It seems weird to me. And if he's out exactly 15 games, for instance, then maybe that's something weird. All right, let's get to this because this was a really nasty fall we saw yesterday. And what I also found interesting, so you'll see here is Risacher goes up and luckily blips him up enough where he didn't land on his head. And so because of that, he, I think, I don't know what the latest injury update was for him, but it's you'll see where he lands here. It's mostly hip, right? So luckily, because he could have been on his head there, didn't land on his head, lands shoulder and hip.
Oh.
But what was interesting about, and I posted this before we went live, was that the Hawks announcers noticed that you can see that there's a push by Gillespie here. Watch. Let's see if I can go frame by frame here.
That's messed
up. So you'll see the little push. Now, this is not okay. He's on the ground still, but he's just about up in the ground, right? So when you know better than me, right?
Yeah.
When you get a tap like that in the back while
that's
you're
not good, man. That's
not right.
That's a no-no in basketball.
Right. Because again, it's too late for him to do anything. He's not going to stop the shot from going up.
That's like NBA players don't usually do that. That's more like some idiot in the gym who doesn't know what he's doing.
Right. And so that causes this imbalance, which then causes him again to directly, as he dunks it, to hold on. But then because of his speed, he just lost. He wanted to hold on longer, but he lost the grip. It's just that. And so look at that. That's insane that anybody would be in this position on the basketball court and then walk away, which he did. But again, he might be injured severely. Now, the what you end up seeing from the let's see, we have here's the top view is again, you can see he pushes him. And he even grimaces. This is like, here's the JFK conspiracy. So watch Gillespie's face. Watch. I think he's realizing, oh shit, I shouldn't have done this. See that? Look at it. You can see his teeth. He's like, I shouldn't be doing this, and I'm doing it, and this could be dangerous.
Right, and that's why he pulled back a little bit too.
Right, and then you see him. Let's see him on the regular thing. You'll see him react. Let's go all the way to the beginning. Look, you'll see him what he does. He'll hold his head. He knows that it was wrong, but they then the show must go on. They have to keep playing. Subsequently, Dylan Brooks gets a technical foul for complaining because Quinn Snyder comes on the court and says, "Foul, take a foul. We got to help our guy." No foul was called, so it should have been technical foul on Quinn Snyder. Can't do that. I know you're concerned for your player. Go run to your player. That's okay, even. But you can't run out to the court like here. I already took it off. He runs out in the middle of the play from the other side, and it's like waving, and he's saying foul, but the referee should not have stopped it. The only reason why they should have stopped it was for a technical foul for Snyder. Now Dylan Brooks complains about that, and they give Dylan Brooks a technical foul. That's a problem too. That should not have happened either. So there's all interesting things that get screwed up on this. I probably think that in the rule book, maybe they should have a rule that allows the referees to stop the game at that point. But here's the thing: Risacher, you saw it sat up. He wasn't down looking dead on the floor. He sat up and was writhing around.
He saw his life flash before his eyes. That's what he was in shock.
Yeah. Okay. But when you see him moving and he's not like collapsed and like, not moving at all, then you can let the game play and you can, if you want to run over there, okay. But
you think if he collapsed and didn't move, even if it was an act, he could have got Gillespie in more trouble?
I don't know. Maybe. But
probably he probably would have got ejected.
I don't know if you could react if there was a worse reaction to that would have caused anything different, because that was almost as bad as the reaction you could see. That was terrible. He lands and it was frightening. Anyway, so interesting play. But again, understand this and remember the context. Gillespie threw the ball away. And now this is the same play as Russ. Russ did the same thing to AJ Mitchell against OKC like the week before. And I had people wanting to yell at me because they're Russ fans and they can't see that what he did was. And Russ did it even more overtly with a straight arm push. The guy, and he was already in the air and he went into the stanchion. Do you remember this play?
Yep.
And that would have been, he could have broken his neck. Swear to God, like that was as close. A few inches differently, it would have gone right in the stanchion with his head. He would have been in the wheelchair. And so we can't have that happen. And what happens is that you get embarrassed by turning the ball over. And now you're running back. I got to get back at him. I got to stop this. I got to erase the embarrassment, whatever that is. And that's what happens. And you got to be smarter and know you cannot do that. You need to learn this in 8th grade that you cannot do that. I remember I got into it with the coach. I was a 7th grade coach in my old grammar school right out of college. The 8th grade coach didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was a PE teacher, was terrible. And the same thing happened just like that. And he yelled out to our guy who was now running back behind the guy to foul him. And I said, you cannot do that. And he got so angry at me. And I'm like, that is what would happen when you yell at a guy to foul somebody who's now trailing and they're embarrassed because they threw the ball away and they're going to push him in the air and the guy's going to get hurt. Cannot do that. What you maybe have to yell is let him go, at that point. He was, way ahead. So anyway, hopefully people understand that. But let's get to our next super chat. Looks like Cliffside's back. Thoughts on the NBA players saying there's no more middle class for vets because of the second apron? You either get a max, the minimum, or traded. That makes sense to me. That's happening, and that's been happening for a while. I feel like we've been saying that for 10 years. So that sucks, right? You don't have as many of the guys. What's middle class combo?
I guess it doesn't exist anymore. I mean, I don't know. I guess the vets make. I don't know. No idea.
Like a starter gets in the 20s, right? And then way up from there, like the superstars get 50 now, whatever. And you would think that like the 8th or 9th guy would be like 10 million. And no, that's probably going to end up being like the 5 or the minimum stuff in the million or 2 million range. It's an interesting dynamic that coaches are going to have to deal with as well, right? Because there's going to be, it's kind of like what's happening in this country, right? Where we're having way more billionaires and like the separation between the upper class and the middle and lower class is getting greater and greater. And that's not good, by the way. It's a society. Now, does it matter in the NBA? I don't know. Do you have a feeling for that?
I mean, I guess it could cause dissension in the locker room. I don't know if you're not a pro. Yeah,
it could. Or, I mean, maybe not as much. Like you're stuck, you're making so little that they can do whatever they want to you. And whether it's fair or not or whatever, you might just have to learn. They just learn that they can take it, which is just, a soul killing thing, which you don't want to have to deal with, at the NBA level. You have to, what you want to know, you're being treated fairly. But, I don't know. Maybe at some point, a couple teams will get together or have some serious success and win some titles with a balanced contract roster. You know what I mean? Right. Maybe that would inspire other teams to think, hey, maybe we don't need the $50 million guy and then a bunch of vet minimums. We can maybe do it with a bunch of $20 million contracts and kill some people. So that maybe that would eventually happen. That would be nice. I would believe in that, but as it is now, it doesn't look like that way. Now you could maybe argue OKC is like that. They have to have. Well, now they might have those guys on those young contracts still, right? Case and Wallace's and those guys. And it's going to hurt them. They're going to end up having to move up. Well, they're going to have to move on from Caruso and Hartenstein again, right? I don't think they're going to be able to sign them. But that's so what? They just bring in the Jalen Williams and Wallace and Isaiah Joes, and then then they reload.
They got guys. They got depth. How many more super chats we got? I got to wrap soon.
Oh, okay. I think that's it.
Okay. Cool.
Let me make sure I got everybody. Did I get everybody? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody out there, for being part of an awesome show with huge numbers today. Thank you all for the super chats. Let's just run it through. Alan, Cliff, Melting, Jader, Cliff again, and FT Mari, and Cliff again. So thank you guys for the super chats. It really helps us keep the show going. I can't express how important this is to help us all as we're going through life. And Combo, what else are you doing this week?
Podcasts all day. Content. Subscribe to Combo's Court. Just dropped a pod about the YouTube one-on-one space, which is really interesting, and the landscape of skill development, which Coach Midrange, he's like a commentator for that one-on-one space. Actually commentated with your guy Dev for that big Briscoe game that kind of people are calling the worst one-on-one ever.
Does that Is that getting views? Are people really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a niche, right? But people are watching for sure.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm at to maybe peek at that, but Deb is certainly one of those guys that really knows how to go play once. And he's old now at this point compared to those guys, but
right.
do some damage.
Right.
So we'll get that figured out. Maybe I can hook up with him and figure out some stuff on that. But otherwise, stay tuned for the video I'm going to be doing on OKC, on the Rockets, and always weigh in here in the comments. I'm always monitoring that to see other ideas. And then so Jada Race wants to see the Hawks and without Trey. I mean, listen, I love Trey. It's hard to imagine, well, it isn't that hard because Trey is smaller. Perhaps they're going to, the defensive stuff. I don't know. But it's hard to imagine that they would play like so much better.
They were playing great with Trey last year. I mean, Jalen Johnson's a player, man. That guy's good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and if it's related to,
I would actually try and play more of like point Jalen. I would try that and see how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I got my eyeballs on some Hawk stuff. So stay tuned for all of that and more. And don't forget, sports fans, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel. We're a conversation. You in? Are you in, Combo?
Yes, sir.